Late night bites with friends, already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Reese Witherspoon here, checking into my favorite hotel in Paris. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
I'm traveling with my Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card, so I earn rewards wherever I book travel. 5 times points with hotels, 4 times with airlines, 3 times on restaurants and other travel, and 1 point on other purchases. Phew, that was a lot. I need to lie down. Is the room ready?
Visit wellsfargo.com/autograph journey. Terms apply.
Welcome to Crime Besties. We are here for episode 102. How are you, Meg? What's been happening?
Yeah, it's been a week.
We were just saying we're a bit unhinged today.
We are slightly, actually a lot.
A lot?
Yeah. Listen out to the end of the episode, Pete, for maybe a bloopers reel.
Actually, yeah. I've had one of those weeks this week where I've been oscillating between being in a really silly mood because for whatever reason, and then being really angry and shitty.
Well, apparently there's something in retrograde at the moment or whatever it is.
Okay.
So I was on
Mercury?
No,
Isn't
not
it?
Mercury.
No. Oh.
It was one that I'd never heard of before, and apparently
A planet you've never heard of? Or?
No, it's not a planet. It's obviously I don't know, something else is in a
force field in retrograde.
I don't know how all that works. But yeah, who was it saying? It was something on TikTok was explaining it, and that to basically expect maybe even like a terrorist attack.
Oh, Jesus.
It's that bad. Like this, whatever it is out in retrograde. It's like, yeah. So, and it's why everyone's feeling really angry and that at the moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, I probably should have looked into it more. But yeah, I kind of because I heard it and kind of went, all right, clearly it's been in retrograde for a while then because I'm, been like this
always
for a while. And then I went, oh no, last 2 days. Okay, so maybe not.
Can't necessarily blame whatever's in retrograde on that.
But it's in retrograde for like another couple of weeks too, so expect it to keep going. Yeah.
But I've also found things that I normally wouldn't find like so funny, like really funny this week.
Yeah, I think you need that.
For example, have you seen these videos? I don't even know how my algorithm knew that I needed this. Yeah. I didn't know I needed this. My algorithm knew. And it has given me life this week.
I love this.
But it's these videos of people and say they've crashed their car or their car's broken down or something like that. And then someone will drive past them and go, you can't park there.
I love those. They are so good.
I don't know
and it's
why.
the reaction of the person who said the accent that kills me. Like, fuck off.
It just has been giving me life. And then so now my algorithm's obviously feeding me more of that.
Oh,
and last night I lost my absolute shit because there was this bloke and he was wearing camouflage pants. He was at the video's like on a balcony. He's on a balcony in a pub.
Yeah.
And the balcony's got like a glass balustrade, so you can see straight through.
Oh no, if he's wearing camo, he cannot be seen.
This bloke drives past and he's like, mate, where are your legs?
That's my mum joke. Whenever I see anyone in camo, I'm like, someone's talking, but I can't see them.
Last night I was actually crying from laughter watching these videos.
So good.
So okay, it's because something's in retrograde. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'll take it. I don't necessarily like the opposite feeling of feeling like stabby and whatnot.
No, I've been feeling rather stabby lately. That's a really good way of putting it. Look, but it's other people that cause it, not me.
Right. It's not my.
People didn't piss me off.
I know. I said to you before, I'm like, I think I'm being really intolerant. And you're like, you intolerant? No.
What? Never heard of this of you before. Only when you're driving. Or when you're at school or when you're at work.
Yeah, or just like a day ending in Y or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
Funny.
Oh, God. You know what else actually infuriated me this week was an interview that I heard of Miranda Kerr.
Okay.
Have you heard this interview with
I don't think
Kristen
so.
Cavallari?
No, I haven't.
It's so shouldn't infuriate
It's
me like
because
it
my
did.
algorithm's feeding me other shit.
Come over to this side of TikTok,
Okay.
is it? Yeah. No, yeah. So it was obviously a podcast with Kristen Cavallari, who I kind of love. Like, I love to hate almost.
Love to hate, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's interviewing Miranda Kerr, and Miranda Kerr's explaining her diet.
Okay.
And she only eats protein.
Huh?
Yeah, only eats protein.
You need fibre.
Yeah, but
we know now that fibre and protein are just as important as each other.
I remember her mentioning anything with fibre in it.
Imagine.
But she cannot eat. She won't eat eggs for breakfast though. Eggs are for later in the day. For breakfast, she eats venison. She eats nothing processed. And when I say processed, I mean there's versions. There's levels of processed food.
Yeah,
like
because venison is processed. Like she's not going out there.
Oh
and
no!
hunting it
So
and
I think she has
cutting
someone
it
hunt
down.
it basically, because she won't eat anything that's been processed. So in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, if you would go and buy meat from the supermarket,
That's processed.
it's even at a level being
Yeah.
processed.
Well, it has. It's not. You're not buying an animal
No.
whole.
So I have a funny feeling, from how she was talking, that she eats venison for breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was listening to her going, "Tell me you're a stuck-up celebrity, living the weirdest life ever."
You know what gets me about things like that though is that
Other
some
people listen to it?
I was going to say some people would listen to that and go, "Oh my god, I need to do that."
Mm-hmm.
And she's
not
not a
healthy.
nutritionist. She's not a doctor. She's not medically trained at all.
No.
Her skincare and stuff, good. That's superficial stuff. It can make people feel good. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But if you're saying things like that, it's like when celebrities give diet advice. I just can't
this
even
is
with that
it.
shit.
She is basically, without giving advice formally,
Yeah.
she's telling people what she does and people look up to her.
It's like Gwyneth Paltrow who's like,
Oh,
if
God.
I'm feeling really hungry for lunch, I have a bone broth.
Oh, that'll fill me up.
I'm like, Gwen,
Oh,
Gwen.
God. Get a
take
bit
your,
of chocolate.
Take your only egg out of your hoo-ha and go and eat something tasty.
Light a candle, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
No.
I can't imagine eating venison for breakfast. You know what, though? Peter, producer
Hmm.
Pete, he has wild breakfast ideas. Okay, so this is his idea of a breakfast.
Yeah.
Whatever we've had left over from the night before in scrambled eggs. So, for example, I'll give you a good example. We had kimchi fried rice with something this week.
Yes.
The next morning, he has kimchi fried rice scram for breakfast. That I can kind of come at because I do like.
I'm going.
I do like a kimchi egg. Yep.
Yeah,
combo.
yeah, yep.
Japanese curry
Oh,
scram. What else has he done? It actually blows my mind. And you know what surprises him is when it doesn't really work out.
oh, shocking!
I'm like, yeah,
Not
'cause
everything
that's like-
goes with a scrambled egg.
That's right. And also, like, if it's a bit wet,
Yeah.
like eggs, no.
I'm just thinking some of the meals I've had with you in recent times and
Yep.
going, can I put that in a scrambled egg? Going, I wouldn't.
A schnitzel scram.
Oh, really? He will do that?
Yep.
Look, I'm a bit, don't knock it till you've tried it. But,
I just look at it and I'm like, no,
yeah. No.
no,
This is a
thanks.
new bit of information, Pete.
Yeah. His breakfasts are wild to me.
Yeah.
I like a breakfast food for breakfast.
I love,
Like-
I'm big on breakfast.
Yeah, me
foods.
too.
Love
so
a brunch.
this morning I had a really nice. I had porridge with seeds and fruit, and it was
yum.
delicious. It was absolutely delicious. And he's sitting there eating leftover fried rice and dumplings from last night. Not in a scram,
Like,
surprisingly.
I know, like, even when people do, like, say, like, leftover pizza for breakfast.
Oh, no.
And I've never been able to do that. No.
It just
No.
I feel like I'm a little bit what's the word? I'm a bit pure with my breakfast. I'm like,
Yeah,
if I start
breakfast
my day
snob.
eating pizza, but if I start my day eating pizza, well, I might as well just eat shit for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I feel like if I
Sets
start
you off
well,
on the same thing.
if I start well and it goes downhill, well, at least I've had a decent
At least you
breakfast.
started the day well. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Oh, God. Yes. Oh, my God. Crazy.
Craziness. Anyway, how has your week been? Aside from Mercury or whatever the fuck it is being in
Whatever's
retrograde.
Yeah, no.
Have the boys been good?
Oh, you know.
yeah, kids.
Yeah. Do you know what? One of the most revolting things happened this week, and we haven't discussed this one on the podcast for a while.
Go on.
Kyle.
Now, a few people, so we're recording this in the week that we've released our 100th episode, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen it, but there were a lot of comments in our comments section of people saying, give Kyle a kiss for me. And I was like,
No. So this week I was chatting with one of my sons on the couch as the one, Brody, who's the axolotl belongs to, was off in bed, right? So he's nowhere near it. And my older boy, Mason, and I chatting as we sort of both glance at the same time over to the tank and realise, yeah, Brody has at least remembered to feed him tonight. And I look and just nearly vomit.
oh, God.
Because he regurgitates his food. Like, it's the most disgusting thing. And you literally see him, like, convulsing, bringing it up. And it's like, the both of us are supposed to sit there going,
Mason would not be able to handle
Mason's
that.
like, Mum, he's just the most disgusting thing ever. He's so gross. And I'm like,
why does he
I'm here for
regurgitate his
you.
food? Is there something
I don't
wrong
know.
with
I
him,
think
or
it's
is that what
probably-
they do?
Does it sound wrong? Fingers crossed. No, God, no. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
God,
You don't want to have to deal with the
That's-
fallout of that.
I don't want to deal with that. No. Yeah, that thing, Jesus. Because actually one of my...
I'm
someone
going to Google, are
absolute-
axolotls
yeah.
allowed to regurgitate a food? You
Allowed.
keep going.
So because this week on our one of our faves, True Crime and Cocktails.
Yes.
Christy was unboxing things as she does.
Yep.
And she unboxed this little animal that was an axolotl and she couldn't even touch it. Like the sensory of it was like, oh my God, I can't. Like, you know. And I was like, well, try and touch on the real
Try
thing.
a
It's
real
exactly
one.
the same.
Okay, so according to AI,
Yeah.
axolotls can and do regurgitate food. This is a natural physiological response when they eat too much, swallow food that is too large, or experience a drop in water temperature that slows their digestion.
Oh, God.
So he's overeating.
Okay, so now, okay. Oh, it doesn't feel like we feed him much, really.
No,
to
but
be
maybe
honest.
he's eating too much in one go or something.
Well, that's the thing, because the thing you feed him like every second day is like this frozen cube thing, and I mean, well, it's frozen. It goes in frozen. Like you don't have to defrost it. You just plonk it in, right? And it defrosts, I guess, on its own in the water. And then I don't know, but it's just
Does it make the tank dirty?
yeah, because then you have to go like, oh well, it's usually me too, and you have to go and scoop it all out, and that when he does it, it's gross.
Oh, yuck.
And it's
That's
all in
actually making me
bits.
feel sick.
Yeah,
Yuck.
it's so gross. Just another PSA: don't get an axolotl.
Have you seen Lucas's board over there? One of the things that I want for my birthday, he's got a new phone. Like he's got a phone. Yeah. An Apple Watch, a new dog for Piper,
A new dog for Piper.
a frog or an axolotl or both, please.
I wonder where he's got that from.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You tell me. Yeah, you should be sorry.
Well, at least it's number 4. There's things
Yeah,
above
that's
it.
right. But he's not getting any of the other things. Cute that he thinks that.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God. No, that's just wrong. No.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah, Kyle's loved very much in our house, and thanks for thinking of him.
Yeah. Yep. Ugh.
Oh, everyone
No,
else loves
thanks.
Kyle except for me.
And Mason.
Oh, God.
All right, we have a lot of shout outs for
do.
today. So we've got lots of new Patreons. Thank you very much to Candace Clark, Morgan Clark Dolman, Trish, Lisa Perry, Zoe Joyce, Ellie Lavery, and Nia Saver. We've also had coffees bought for us by Monica, Anna S, Miss Tan. Miss Tan got herself a new Lego so that she could put it together while she was listening to us for our 100th episode. Isn't that
So
gorgeous?
cool.
Emma James, Sam, who's an overseas Aussie. She did write where she was living, and it's gone off the top of my head. But she listens to us, I think. Oh, no, it's gone off the top of my head. And Amy. So thank you very much to everybody for supporting us.
Oh, it's
thank you to
been a
everyone
huge
who's made
week.
comments. Yeah, as I said, we released our 100th episode this week. So we've had so much love and we really appreciate it. It gives us a bit of a dopamine hit every time we get a nice comment.
Well, yeah, the comments have been coming thick and fast this
So
week. This is our week. The week for us, it's the week that our 100th episode dropped, and oh my gosh, incredible! I mean, I don't think we've this week particularly. I don't think we have had one shit comment.
We haven't.
Nothing in amongst all of it has been just
all lovely.
so incredible. And it's, I mean, we know we probably deserve a few shit comments.
Oh, look, whatever.
We're not perfect.
No, God, no.
We feel perfect when you guys comment like that. So
Yeah.
it's incredible. Like
Yeah.
them, just the
We
love
had a
being
lot of
great.
acknowledgement of people who were like, we can see how far you've come to, which I really appreciate because
We had a long way to
so
come.
far. Still probably got a long way to go, but we've come so far and we appreciate you guys sticking with us throughout some of the more, I don't know, tedious and bumpy early days.
The early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll still go through this episode. So.
Let's see how we go. Now, just really quickly, have you been following the Lindsay Clancy trial?
I have been somewhat, as in
Okay.
like I don't watch it live. Or
Oh,
anything.
God,
Like,
no.
God, no, it's,
Timing wise, that's
not
a hard
great.
no for me.
But I sort of try and get a few wrap ups here and there of what's going on, and I'd love to know your thoughts on all. I know there's like people with some interesting thoughts on this.
Yeah.
I have my own, which I don't think are interesting. I think they should be fairly mainstream, but it's very, very, very sad.
Oh, it's so sad.
awful.
I've been listening to a daily podcast about it, or they kind of record every second day, so you get the wrap up of 2 days
things,
roughly.
yeah.
And it's been fascinating to listen to, and I feel like so invested in this case at the minute.
Yeah.
Like it does consume a lot of my thoughts because
Yes.
there's so much nuance to all of this, and like where the blame lies, or is there blame? Where does that sit?
But then there is the fact that these poor children are
Those
gone.
poor kids are gone, and her now ex-husband, he's still fully supporting her.
Which I think says a lot.
It says a lot. He's moved on, like
Yes.
he's remarried, I
Yeah.
think. But he is still testifying on her behalf, which I think you're right. It says a lot. He said this isn't her. This is not
who he knew,
who he knew her to be. So
Yeah.
I think that says almost everything, because he could have very easily gone down the other path and hated her.
You look at our Kathleen Folbig
That's
episode,
right,
how we talked about her
100%.
ex-husband and how to the point of where she was exonerated and he still didn't
Believe
it.
Yep.
And whereas this guy, he knows who she is at her core.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to be very public around what his thoughts are on this, we have to listen to that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that case. I think that'll be one that
Yeah.
we'll cover at some point.
There's got to be way more research into things and into women's health in general. It's not.
The thing that gets me on this as well is the fact that, she was reaching out for help. She asked so many
Mm-hmm.
different services and so many different people and so many different avenues for assistance.
But then it's on a similar vein, it's women's health, women's needs in all these sorts of things. Hannah Clark reached out to all the services she was supposed to reach out to as well.
Yeah.
And these services, they exist, but then what their capabilities are, like the research isn't there.
No, that's right.
The legislation isn't there. The supports don't go far enough. And this is an issue across the board for
women's
gendered
health.
and women's health.
Yeah. So speaking of True Crime and Cocktails, I was listening to their episode this week, and they were chatting at the start about perimenopause. And Lauren was saying, why the fuck do we not know anything? Why hasn't anyone told us that we're going to wake up in night sweats and we're going to be angry and we're going to have
walk into rooms and go,
she's
why
like-
the fuck am I here?
Yeah, she's like, did you even know frozen shoulder was a thing? All these things that are attributed to perimenopause that we don't really know about. There's no research, and they made the point that if a man suffered one of these things,
Yeah.
it would be researched to within an inch of its life.
Yes.
So, look, the good thing is tides are changing there. Everyone's talking about
hope
peri at
so.
the moment. There is more research going into it, but it's late.
It's
Like, what
also
happened
still
with our
not.
mum's
It's still not the
generation?
equal amount of value of money that's going into research for other things that are male focused. So we're still not there. There was a really, really funny sketch that Ursula. Carlson did.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? Where
No.
okay, so she plays the doctor in this skit, and this
Okay.
man and woman come into her office, and she's like, "Oh, great, lovely to see you both." And what can I help you with? And the guy sits there and he goes, "Oh, actually, I've been feeling really run down and, had this like sniffly nose and just tired. She goes, oh my gosh, you poor thing. Oh my gosh. Well, it sounds like you've got the flu and you should not do anything. You should not lift a finger for the next month. Right? And she's like, lays it on thick and, I'm writing prescriptions, and all this. And then she turns to the woman and she goes, and what about you? And she goes, well, I've actually got the exact same symptoms as him. And she goes, okay, we'll get over it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's so fucking true.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it was a man that was feeling the same way, it'd be dealt with. And really, there'd be so much in place to fix that.
Yeah.
The poor female sitting there going, like, well, you still need to pick up after him.
Yeah. He's going to need tending
Yeah,
too.
you need to look after him. So get your shit together. Fuck off.
Right, speaking of men, quick shout out to producer Pete.
Great follow on.
I don't know why that reminded me of you, Meg.
what?
But he wanted a shout out today because he set up the studio and made us coffee.
He did. He did. And it was good coffee. Good coffee.
Thanks, producer Pete.
I love that I got the absolute piece of shit mug. Was he telling me something?
I actually didn't even notice that. What did I get? What did you get? No, he didn't.
You got flowers.
I got flowers.
Oh, that's so
Bless.
favoritism.
Love it. All right. Today,
Okay.
let's give everyone a bit of a rundown of how this is going to work.
Yeah.
So we are discussing Mr. Cruel today. Now, in this main episode feed, we are going to go through his main victims, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
We are then going to release today as well a Patreon episode that discusses specifically the Carmen Chan abduction and murder.
Yes.
Now, the reason we've separated these out is because there's conjecture as to whether Mr. Cruel is even involved in Carmen Chan's disappearance.
Even if you're using topical prescription creams for your child's eczema, you still might be hearing this. That relentless itching that makes them want to scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch. When their moderate to severe eczema isn't well controlled, it's time to ask about Dupixent, dupilumab, which isn't a cream, steroid, or immunosuppressant. Dupixent helps kids as young as 6 months stay ahead of their eczema with clearer skin and noticeably less itch. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent helps your child feel the heal. Ask your child's eczema specialist. Visit Dupixent.com or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Appearance and murder. So we've separated them out for that reason. So if you want to listen to our episode on Carmen Chan, that will be available today on Patreon. Mm-hmm. It's $5 a month to join over there. And yeah, you can just join at patreon.com/2crimebesties.
Yep.
And if not, you'll get the whole Mr. Cruel sort of experience today anyway.
Yeah. Well, obviously
here.
over in Patreon, we've we can chat over there too, as we do around, after we've put the case out there, we'll have a little chat about what everyone thinks.
I want to know
it.
what everyone's theory is because it's polarizing.
It is really, very much so.
All right, let's get into today's episode. So today we're talking about Mr. Cruel, which was a nickname given by the Sun at the time. So it's now the Herald Sun. Mm-hmm. But this is back in the late 80s or mid to late 80s that this all sort of came about. And originally I think they gave him the name Mr. Cool. And the reason for that was because he was very sort of understated in the way that he did things, and he was a bit of a cool cat in that I suppose the way he perpetrated what he did, he was given that moniker. But then, of course, more and more came out in the media about what happened to his victims and how it all came about. And so that then was adapted to Mr. Cruel, and that's who we know as today. Yes. And I think when we were talking about doing this episode, the only thing that really, I'm fairly familiar with the story. It's something that is part of, we grew up very close to where some of these things happened. Yeah. Very close to where all of it happened. It all sort of has occurred
within a triangle, and we kind of live within that triangle, or just out of the triangle, I guess. But so it's all quite close to where we are.
All very close to us. So it's a case that I've been fascinated by and interested in for many years.
Hate saying it, but you're a little bit younger than I am.
Significantly.
I mean, I was of the age, I was probably 7 when I think the first one sort of took place. And
I was 2.
6.
I was 2. Not
Shush.
even.
But so I was in that generation of the kids roaming the streets of that age.
Yeah.
And so we would, because on our street there was a bunch of us all went to the same primary school and stuff. We would all literally get home from school and go out into the road, meet up with with the friends and that, and you'd all take off down the road.
Yep.
We disappear to the parks and things like that. We'll never supervised.
No.
I was of that.
But you weren't. I was
at
the
that
same.
time.
Like,
yeah. But this sort of changed that, even in our group of friends, like kind of thing, where we've started getting that, like don't talk to strangers
danger.
and things like that. So I mean, obviously there was then the white vans thing that came up as we progressed over time. Of don't talk to anyone that's in a white van, and stuff like that.
Don't take candy from a stranger. Lollies from a stranger.
Yeah. So I mean, I do remember. I don't remember, the case as such being, at that age. But I remember that feeling of things changing.
Yep.
That, I was of the younger end of the kids we hung out with, at the time. So we're all going out and doing these things. But there was definitely a vibe from the parents as this progressed over these few years of more and more, don't just like stick together and, all these things. Whereas that was even never spoken about. It was just kind of like, you just disappeared. Like,
be back
by, the lights are back on in the streets when the lights come on. So, yeah, it shaped us in that way, and it didn't stop us doing all what we were doing, but it definitely, there was a vibe change.
That's like looking at that, saying that from a 2026 context, that actually blows my mind because especially with one of them that was particularly close to where we live, and I know very close to where you grew up.
Yeah.
To me, as a parent in 2026, that would mean I would not allow my kids outside.
Yeah.
But it was a shift in culture,
it was,
wasn't
as long
it?
as you were in a group, you were okay, kind of thing. So it was,
but that didn't matter with him.
But the thing, and the other side of that too, when my parents would say that to us, like, we'll stick together, right?
You're like, yeah.
But yep. They weren't supervising us sticking together. So we were we would go, when I think about it now of how far we would go from home, like, there's no way I'd allow my kids to go that. I mean, you let them go a little bit and go on a bike ride or whatever. We were going a fair distance, even further than kids these days would actually walk on the regular. And train lines, and we used to play on the train lines. It was fun. So it was not considered.
Life's so different these days,
Yeah.
and it's because of things like this that have changed.
Yeah,
that have changed our lives and the way we live, and the way, I think the fact that we grew up knowing some of these things as well, that's like informed the way we then parent.
Yeah.
And then the world just isn't a safer place anymore. There's
it's
so
awful
much
that it's
more.
worse like that,
It's like there's so much more known mental illness. I mean, scary things happen every day.
Yeah.
Close to home.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so difficult as a parent these days because I've got my eldest he craves independence, and I was like him. I remember I wanted independence more than anything, and Ollie is exactly the same. But as a parent, I really, really struggle with that because I trust him, but I don't trust everyone else around him, and so it's like arming him with the tools to be able to deal with, these quite adult and confrontational situations, like. Our local park, something happened there recently where somebody was held up with a knife.
Oh, fuck.
And the e-bike was stolen. It was at night. It was late. Oh, but still, like, it's
the fact
scary.
that's happening. Yeah, that's
scary.
Shit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, God. You don't want to put that kind of fear in your kids either, though. Like, it's awful.
Exactly.
Such a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just awful. God. Okay, so basically, where do you want to start with this?
Well, should we just move through like
start with the first suspected attack, the one in Hampton in 1985?
Oh, yep.
Do you want to start with that? So
yeah, that sounds good.
I guess it's worth saying up front that Mr. Cruel to this day has not been identified or captured. So we don't really know. There's nothing concrete necessarily, aside from 2 of these cases, that we know were definitely perpetrated by the same person. We don't really know, especially with this first one, and then as we were saying before with Carmen Chan, we don't really know whether this same person was involved or whether it was another person. With Carmen Chan, could it have been a copycat? We don't know.
There's talk around that there's sort of like a possibility of like a dozen possible cases that could be attributed to Mr. Cruel.
But there are certain key elements of those cases that don't quite fit.
And so they basically then come back to really definitely 2. And then, this one
This
we're going to talk about
third,
now. This
yeah.
third one's probably the closest one again, but there is quite a gap time-wise, but then there was a gap between the others.
The gap kind of fits.
Consistent.
The gap is
isn't it?
consistent.
Yeah, it is consistent. So it is an interesting whether or not there were then others in between that were not as severe as the other cases, so therefore maybe not reported in the same way to police, that may actually be linked to this person that we just don't know and we don't have enough information to connect. So, and then also there is elements of what the public is, given access to. There's quite possibly things in a file, with police that makes that another one more connectable that we are not privy to because the police are trying to still solve this.
Yeah, definitely. It's still a cold case and it's open. I think I've listened to several detectives who've headed up the investigation of this case over time.
Yeah.
And they all say that it was this one in particular was really difficult with what information they decided to release to the public and what they decided not to. Mm-hmm. And to this day, they're still kind of battling with that. But we'll get to all that as we get to the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So the first suspected attack, I suppose, happened in February of 1985 in Hampton in Victoria.
Yeah.
So this was a 14-year-old girl. She was abducted from her home. Now, Hampton is quite an affluent suburb. It's Bayside suburb, so it's a very beautiful part of our state, and which kind of does fit in terms of where he kind of went with other victims as well, potentially.
Yep.
So basically what they know is that he restrained this girl.
Yep.
In terms of the psychological impact of this, it kind of fit as well in terms of the way he did other things, the way he spoke to the victim and all of that kind of thing. But there were certain other things that didn't quite fit. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, there was one thing particularly that has stood out to them that makes a good connection between the two was a particular quote that the 14-year-old, 14, cluey, they're able to retain these information of things that go on whilst this abduction has taken place. And so there was an actual quote that she explained to the police that he said that later abductions connect to this. And that was, my liberty, my freedom is more important than your life.
Yeah.
Basically this inference of, that she is disposable in this moment. He must protect himself at all costs. So his identity and all those sorts of things within this abduction that he saw first and foremost as his, most important part of this abduction, that he must proceed and do this for whatever reason. His mental health does this and makes him do it, but he also has to protect himself at first. So, that's fucking scary as a 14-year-old to understand that she is in grave danger. But if she, I guess, does as he says and complies, there's a possibility that she would be released.
Yeah.
So she did, I guess, do what she needed to do, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically he broke into the home, he targeted her, he concealed his identity with a balaclava, and he also exercised control over the rest of the household as well. So he bound, I think were both of her parents at home?
I believe so.
And really put the fear of them in. The thing that doesn't fit with this case is the abduction of her, like removing her from the household, because that then didn't fit with the way the sequence of events went with the next victims in terms of escalation. But anyway, she was returned, and it was kind of at the time looked at as a standalone home invasion.
Yeah.
I think the police thought with this particular case that the abduction of this girl was kind of thought of in the moment. Then retrospectively, when they look back on it, they're like, no, this was actually planned.
Quite deliberate.
And deliberate.
Yeah.
But they didn't know any better at the time.
No, there was nothing almost to compare it to.
No, there wasn't.
And the fact that he did release her You know, like that was so unusual. I mean, we know so much that when children go missing, the very unfortunate thing is if once sort of, I think it's 48 hours.
Yeah,
you know, that
they say
the massive decline in the amount in finding that child alive is, you know, so hard. So this was a very, very interesting. I can't remember how long he kept her for.
I think it was a couple of. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember reading
but the other thing is with this particular case is that the vital evidence was lost. So
yes,
she did have her bindings on her still when she was released, I believe, and they were lost.
Yes.
So they can't even.
There was a swab taken. That we know that it did exist at some point, and so there was DNA. But what has happened to that since? Look, and this is one of those things where there is a possibility it exists still, and that the police are aware of it.
Okay.
But nothing's been released publicly about it.
Right.
So there is an assumption that it has been lost.
Right.
So,
okay.
which I mean, unfortunately, is quite plausible. Like, you know, it's not like wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, we know exhibits have been lost before.
The other significant thing about this one that like really does connect it to the other Mr. Cruel ones that we can link to is that he washed her.
Yeah.
So that there is an ongoing theme of that.
Yeah.
That like physical evidence has been removed by washing the victim. So and survivor, I should say even. And the other thing it was mentioned in this particular one was an aircraft that was heard overhead. So the girl was blindfolded the entire time and didn't see anything. So obviously they've spoken about what sort of sounds did you hear, and she did hear an aircraft.
Okay.
So that is significant and links to the others as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's get to the first recognised, essentially confirmed Mr. Cruel attack.
Yeah.
So this happened in Lower Plenty in August of 1987. Now, this is the planning that went into this just blows my absolute mind. So at 4:00 in the morning, a masked man wearing a balaclava with white stitching around the eyes and mouth. Isn't that the most creepy thing you've ever seen? Oh, God.
Yeah.
He broke into a home. Now, was this the house where he pushed the key through and pulled it through on a piece of paper? I think it was the Lower Plenty house where he did that.
Yes, no, it was.
It was. So basically, in order to gain access to the house, so this is how much he would have had to have surveilled the house to know all of this. He pushed the key. So they obviously had the key in the back of the door. He's pushed the key through with a piece of paper under the door. The key's fallen onto the piece of paper. He's pulled it out, and he's been able to use the key then to open the back door. This is the back door of the house, I believe. 4:00 in the morning, so everyone's obviously asleep. The parents wake up, and I think the dad woke up and sort of woke up to some noise or whatever. He has then, the perpetrator, Mr. Cruel, has then bound the mum and dad, shoved them in their wardrobe.
It's impressive to be able to, I mean, he had a handgun and a knife, a very large knife, but to be able to manage two people, other
if you
adults.
had a gun, though, I feel like that would give you a lot of control.
That's it. He obviously did command control. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah, he wasn't fumbly enough that someone was able to kind of find a moment to be able to like override this.
This is what makes me feel like he'd had prior experience
of some sort.
Of something.
Yes.
We will absolutely get to that.
Yeah.
So he's bound the mum and dad. There was also a boy, a brother in the house. He was also bound. He was tied to his bed. He was tied to his bed.
Yes.
The victim in this, I mean, they're all victims, the whole family of victims, but the target, I suppose, was an 11-year-old girl. Now, she, according to her mum and dad, she was very quiet. It's like she just kind of knew she had to comply, whether that was because he had the gun and the knife pointed at her or not, but she just, as I said, she just complied. Now, mum and dad are bound, hands and feet bound inside the wardrobe, and they were told that they were not to make a noise, they were not to do anything. The brother was in exactly the same boat. Oh, what happens next just gets me. Okay. She was not abducted. She was assaulted inside her own home. This sexual assault lasted about 2 hours. This is an 11-year-old girl with her mum and dad in the room next door hearing this.
Oh, that's really, oh God. Yuck.
He didn't abduct her. He washed her. He
He unplugged the telephone?
Yes, did he cut the telephone line or something so that they couldn't raise the alarm?
Yep.
When the dad heard him leave at about 6 o'clock in the morning, he was able to somehow, I'm assuming the daughter unbound the parents. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But the dad pretty much ran out the front door, raised the alarm with some neighbours because he couldn't obviously make a phone call from his house because the line had been cut.
Yep.
The neighbours called the police and he actually went running around the streets to try and find this guy and take him down. Brave, given that you know he was armed with a gun and a knife.
At that point, you're on adrenaline, aren't you?
Oh, you would have to be like, but what? Like, I put myself in his shoes, or not that we don't know what we would do in that situation, but you try and put yourself in his shoes, and you think, yeah, what else would you do? I don't even know what I would do in that situation. I would want to obviously comfort my child. I don't know. What would you do? I just don't know.
Oh God. Yeah. I don't know. You can't even imagine, can you?
Oh,
God. Bloody awful. No. I mean, kids, you're all traumatized, like, kind of thing. You've got your own.
They're all traumatized in a different way.
Absolutely.
Aren't they?
And then the love for your child of like what they've been through and what, oh my God.
Yes. Just unfathomable.
But that's the thing. And then with this one where there's been a physical assault within the home, the amount of, cleaning of that environment to ensure that, like, I don't believe that there was really any forensic evidence that was able to be done from that. I mean, I know we're talking 1987, so, there's not a lot of science behind this yet.
But they knew
to
could
collect things.
Yep.
I don't believe there was a lot that was able to be collected, if any biological DNA or anything like that that was able to be got from the scene.
I believe they tried. So so much so that they took like fingernail clippings from the 11-year-old. But I think he even cleaned under their fingernails and that kind of thing. Like he was meticulous in the cleaning.
How
that to me is also very interesting, given that they didn't know what was possible in terms of DNA. Like the fact that he had the wherewithal to do that, to me at that time was really interesting.
Yes.
I've just made a couple of other notes here I've just read.
Yeah.
So before he pulled the phone line, he used the phone. He made a call to somebody that he called on the phone. He called this person Bozo. Now that comes into play later on as well, this Bozo.
Yep.
So this was the telling of the story by the parents, right?
Yeah.
They're like, he's used the phone, he's on the phone, he's talking to someone.
It's 1938. The 2-week pay period is invented. But then the world got faster. Faster travel, faster delivery, faster everything. Except our pay. Until now, with Daily Pay, everyone can access money they've earned when they need it. Yes, this is the future of pay. Daily Pay. Work with the leader in on-demand pay at dailypay.com. Transfer fee may apply.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Whilst they're bound in their bedroom.
That's right.
Oh, no, they were locked in a wardrobe, weren't they?
They were in a wardrobe.
That's right.
The son was in his bedroom.
Yes.
And he's called this person, and he's calling this person Bozo.
Yeah.
Victoria Police later investigated like the phone calls in and out to see if they could get a phone number. He hadn't actually made a phone call.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they're not sure whether he was pretending to make a phone call or whether he was actually talking to their daughter. But what he was saying, what the parents were saying was that he, like the way he was speaking made them think that he was speaking to like a peer or a friend or something like that.
Yeah.
So
his speech and vocab are something that has been, put out to the media a little bit. So there is some interesting phrases and things that he has used And that's why, as we mentioned, with the 1985 case in Hampton, that sentence he spoke, that it's, it is important. It does link back to him.
Yeah.
Because his tone of voice was also interesting. He spoke very calmly and quietly when he, was in there. He was
no
very
yelling.
much in control of these situations.
I've also made a note here that he actually, when he shoved the parents into their wardrobe, he's actually used a shoe rack up against the door of that to
jam it.
really lock them in there.
Yeah.
He also then got a radio and turned it up to 3KZ to try and drown out some of the noises that were being made, but I believe the parents could still hear.
I guess in case anyone started yelling, and that sort of thing. That might
But then
rise
if you're a neighbour and you hear a radio at 4 o'clock in the morning, that would
what the
you'd be like,
going on?
why are they listening to the radio? Oh, perimenopause, they can't sleep. That's what it is.
She's hot.
Yeah. He also forced her to brush her teeth as well.
even
That
to
was
that
another
point.
thing. So to try and get any evidence out, as I said, cleaned under her fingernails.
Yeah.
He then took her to the this is before he left, obviously. He's taken her to the kitchen. He helped himself to some leftover lamb.
Yeah, he had
biscuits, milk,
which to me then
and orange juice.
He's leaving what I would have thought would have been evidence then, as in fingerprints, but no.
No.
And then
he was gloved.
yeah, and obviously whatever he ate, he consumed entirely, because
There was
there'd be
nothing left
saliva
behind.
left, the mouth touching the milk, drinking out of it. I don't know, he's cleaned up everything.
Yeah.
and hasn't been careful. I mean, I think he's been careful and extensively careful, but at the same time has done what he wants to do, wishes to do, whatever, and known that he can clean up enough.
You know what really gets me with this, though, is after he's done that and eaten the food and whatever, he then took her to the lounge room and raped her again. She's 11. She's already been through the trauma of being raped in her own
Can
bedroom.
you imagine thinking that's over and then it's not? Fuck. So obviously he's in a balaclava, so they can't give a description of what he looked like specifically. But the description that they are able to give includes sort of an age range of somewhere between late 20s and in his 40s. An average height, medium build. So average. Softly spoken. They sort of did have a strong belief that he was Australian.
Just by his accent and the words he used, like bozo.
Stuff like that. But very confident, organised and intelligent, they believed. So with what they would take away from this case.
Interestingly, he also stole things from this house. And so
he looked for money extensively.
Yeah, well, the police actually now believe that this was all a bit of a red herring.
Yeah.
So what he stole from this house, a men's red, black and yellow tartan shirt, a pair of Roger David trousers with an 82 to 85 centimetre waist. So they're thinking, I wonder if these will fit him. That gives us an idea. But, I mean, he just stole the guy's pants. Like, it didn't really matter.
I reckon you'd almost say that's exactly the size that won't fit him, because that's the kind of, not douchebag, unfortunately, smart thing he'd do.
A navy blue parka with a fake black fur collar. Now, this parka was bought by the mum, I believe, when she was in Ecuador. So the police thought, this might actually be a really good clue for us, because there aren't really, you can't buy them in Australia. They were this
one is seen somewhere.
That's right. So it's quite a
it's unique. Yeah.
And so they were like, right, we need to find this parka.
Get that out to the public. Like that's
never
what it looks
found
like.
it.
Yeah.
He stole $250 in cash, an 18-karat gold engagement ring with a white diamond mounted in between 4 gold claws. It had a number stamped on the inside, they were obviously looking for that in all the cash converters and whatever to see whether he'd cashed that in.
Yeah.
He stole a razor from the bathroom, but they're like, I wonder if he used that as
I was just going to say, some of these things I feel like he took potentially because evidence was left on them.
Agreed.
I wonder if he brushed the jacket as he put them in the wardrobe. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
And is that why it ended up being taken in case he felt like he might have actually left some DNA there inadvertently, A
dark brown vinyl bag, which he put everything in.
Right. Makes
then
sense.
he also, now this was something that he definitely wanted to take, a rare box set of classic music records by the London Philharmonic Orchestra, branded as classic gold. So apparently he went through their collection to find this and take this particular one.
Rush, was he?
No, he wasn't in a rush, not at all. Not at all.
Wow.
It's not. I don't think he went there wanting to steal that particular.
No, but he was
just
like,
going,
hang on.
I
Oh,
want
wow.
that. I'll take that. That's
Into a
right
bit of
up my
classical
alley."
music. Interesting.
Interesting.
Oh, very
So the police are obviously trying to figure this guy out. What's going on? Trying to get a bit of a profile. What's he doing? What was his motive? Like, why choose
this family?
particular family?
Because I feel like that there was elements of this that he was so confident with moving around the house, etc., that they feel like he potentially was watching the family for a while before.
Yeah, they had a very distinct feeling, like the fact that the way that he gained access to the house and that kind of thing, that he knew things. The dad did comment that, I think it was this one, in one of these cases, I can't quite remember off the top of my head which one, but in one of these, the father of the household commented that he'd felt like someone was watching them at home
prior to this occurring.
For weeks and weeks, and just felt, you can kind of feel when someone's watching you. The dad had that feeling a few times and had gone out to check things out, but not ever seen anything. So just thought, oh God, what I'm
going loopy.
Crazy. Yeah,
is he perimenopausal?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Oh God.
So we'll leave that case there for now because we're now. So we actually don't have a name for that victim. That's never been released.
Well, she's 11 years old.
She
at
was
the time,
11,
and it's just yeah.
And I'm glad. We can only hope that she's been able to go on and live a fulfilled life and been able to work through the trauma and have a really nice life. She deserves it, and so do the rest of her family. The second victim we do know the name of. So the second victim is a girl by the name of Sharon Wills. This next event happened in December of 1988 in Ringwood, Victoria. So she was abducted. On the 27th of December, an intruder broke through a back door. Again, bound and this time gagged the parents.
Yeah. So didn't need the radio then, see?
Nope.
He's learnt something.
That's it. Abducted Sharon. So this time he actually removed the victim from the house.
Yeah.
So again, this perpetrator was wearing a balaclava with white stitching around the eyes and mouth. Although I believe I've seen 3 different colours of this balaclava written. Some victims said black, some said dark brown, some said dark green.
Oh, you could because he's abducting in early hours of the morning. Sort of lighting would play a part to me, like what colour they think that is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And as soon as he abducted them, he blindfolded them.
Yep.
So they probably only had a split second in terms of being able to see this mask anyway.
Yes.
Or this balaclava
And
anyway.
maybe he had a few to choose from too.
Yeah, who knows? Sharon was a very quiet young girl. She was musical. She loved music. She was part of a choir. She was one of 4 girls in her family, and her mum and dad, John and Julie, just absolutely doted on their children. They were just, I think, a really lovely family.
Yeah.
Doing what they needed to get by, as we all do. When this intruder, so when Mr. Cruel broke into the house, he actually called Sharon by her name. He knew her name. That says a lot, doesn't it? Because that says to me that he's been surveilling her, that she is a targeted victim in this for whatever reason. All right. So the same thing happened. He's gone in, he's bound and gagged mum and dad.
Yep.
He has also, do you know what happened to the other sisters?
I believe he gagged them and tied them as well.
Okay, so he gagged and tied the whole family up.
I think so.
Bloody hell. But as you said, like that, he was armed as well, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. The parents describe him as being a male in his 20s, blue overalls, black ski mask with the stitching.
Yeah.
So she was abducted at about 11, right?
No, about 5:40 a.m. in the morning. And then,
then it was late. Okay, so this is when she was being dropped.
She was taken for 18 hours.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's what I'm getting confused with.
Yes.
So, she was abducted, put into a car. Now, this girl, how old is she? 11?
10.
10.
Yeah.
This 10-year-old girl is amazing. Being blindfolded means that your other senses are obviously heightened, and you would be heightened in a state where you've been abducted.
So therefore,
anyway.
probably not able to to me.
Necessarily.
How much are you taking in that moment? I don't know. Like,
what did she take in?
Everything.
So much.
Oh, she was amazing at 10. Holy crap.
Yeah, so she was able to. Let's talk about how this all planned out. But basically, she was abducted for the 18 hours. She was then dumped.
Yep.
In Bayswater, which is
at the Bayswater High School. She
Yes.
was dumped, just left.
Just left on the side of the road. She then went. Bless her cotton socks. She went to a house, I think, knocked on the door, and obviously then the police were called and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the police obviously knew she was abducted
They were
and missing. They were looking for her.
Yeah.
Now, a Good Samaritan pulled over. And
that's right.
And picked her up and they were able to contact the police that way.
Yeah.
What I find really fascinating in this case is, so Sharon's taken. He has driven with her. Now, she thinks she was in the car for about 45 minutes, roughly.
That's hard to judge.
That's hard to judge. Yes, especially if you're blindfolded and in a state of absolute terror.
Well, not that I'm in a state of terror, but I always think about when I do those float tanks, and you're in that deprivation of I cannot judge the time of how long I've been in there for. No.
Yeah, that's a really fair call.
Yeah. I don't know how many laps it takes me to swim around that tank.
How many times you push yourself off the side? Yeah.
Sorry.
I actually can't do those. No.
Yep.
I much prefer an infrared sauna where I can watch my Netflix or listen to a podcast at the same time. Hashtag relaxation.
Yeah, totes.
Now, what she describes is she's gone to this house. She knew what side of the car she got out on, so she could kind of describe walking. So she's blindfolded this whole time.
Yeah.
She can kind of describe walking into the house. So they knew that the driveway was on the left-hand side of the house, and they've walked to the right to get into the house or unit. Or they don't know if it's a house, townhouse, unit, apartment. They don't know.
Yes.
She's then taken to the lounge room. She's sexually assaulted. He puts on the TV. She can hear her dad on the TV.
Oh, being interviewed, or whatever, at a press conference.
Yep, in a press conference.
How awful.
Yep.
That your dad, just hearing your dad's voice in amongst all of that,
yep.
Oh my God, he's so far away but so close. Oh, that breaks me.
But he loved it. He would have
loved how much that would have made her feel. Oh my God.
He kept her for these probably 16, 17 hours in this premises.
Yeah, she was in a bedroom for most of the time.
He raped her multiple times. He then forced her to, again, have a shower. He clipped her fingernails. He brushed her teeth. She had to wash multiple times. It wasn't just once. Brush her teeth multiple times. He cleaned her though. It wasn't like he left her to clean herself. He scrubbed her. Like her skin was raw. He scrubbed her so much. He then put her in a garbage bag, a plastic garbage bag. So he kept all of her clothes. I'm assuming there was potentially DNA on those. DNA on those clothes.
Yep.
He's then put her in this garbage bag, driven her back to Bayswater, which is only a suburb or two away from Ringwood.
But then we're saying he's driven 45 minutes
back
potentially from Ringwood to wherever he's kept her for these 16 odd hours or something before then driving back that distance.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. We're kind of and did he just drive around in circles for that time? We don't know. Yeah. God.
Sharon also reports things that she could hear at the time.
Yes.
So in between the catastrophic rapes that she was enduring, she could hear aeroplanes.
Yep. Links to that one in Hampton when that girl was abducted.
Yep. She could hear, she was able to give a little bit of detail around it. The next victim gave more detail, which gave a little bit more context as to where these aeroplanes were and the vicinity. But she was able to say that she heard big aeroplanes. She felt like they were close.
Yeah.
Like they were low down to the ground. She wasn't really able to give a huge amount of detail about the frequency of them or anything like that. But, this is now starting to build a little bit of a picture.
She was also able to describe, though, of the movement from the bedroom and where from that point the bathroom was.
Yes.
So it was basically giving them a little bit of an idea of the layout of the house.
Plan. Yeah.
So this was something the police really clung to kind of go, okay, that if they happen to find a house where that is the layout,
And
they might be onto
layout
something.
of the bathroom in particular was
Yes.
unique. So basically you walk into this, the toilet was in a separate room.
That's right.
And you walk into this long, thin bathroom.
You had to walk past a basin, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, the pedestal basin was at the very end of the room, and then right next to that was the shower.
Yeah.
So it was a very odd layout, and then there was a bath on the other side.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah,
So
right.
I've got a picture of it. We can pop it on the socials,
Yeah.
or you can look it up. It's available everywhere.
We'll put it on our socials for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
the layout of it, because that, to me, that is a unique setup.
It was something that not every, like it was something that the police were very much, this is not the typical layout of a bathroom, that it could be possible they could find,
identify it.
by it. Yeah.
Having said that, though, they were like, okay, well, if we're thinking of aeroplanes, there's lots of little airports in and around Melbourne. Tullamarine being our main airport, but Essendon Airport's not very far from there. That also takes on big aeroplanes, not as big as Tullamarine, but still large aircraft can land there.
Yep.
There's also Avalon, which is out near Geelong, which is probably, an hour away from those places. So, but still probably, 45 minutes to an hour away from where she was abducted
when it's
from.
not easy to
So
judge as a 10-year-old to judge how the timing.
So they're
don't know.
thinking, God, we don't actually even really know.
I mean, I wouldn't put a lot into her timing.
No,
like
not
no
necessarily.
disrespect to it,
No,
but like,
not at all.
God, I mean, as an adult, I don't think and sitting in a car traveling. If you took away all my clocks, I couldn't tell you how long we'd been in the car for.
Yeah.
Let alone in those circumstances as a 10-year-old
I think that's very
trying to
fair.
judge that.
Yeah.
I think just an hour and a half. You weren't in the car all day. Put it
Yeah,
that way. Like
that's
like
right.
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Now, 6 days after the attack on the 2nd of January, this is now in 1989, a $100,000 reward was announced for the kidnapping, to find any information out about the kidnapping, the person who did this kidnapping. This was the first ever reward offered for a kidnapping in our state, in Victoria.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how desperate the police were getting and how important this was to try and figure
Yeah.
out. I'm really glad they did that.
Well, because they were linking, obviously, I mean, they were linking this case already to the Lower Plenty one from 85 because of a number of things that Sharon was able to describe, one being the word bozo. Another word that he used regularly within his expressions and things was missy and worrywart. Yep. So these terms were released to the public as kind of things of like, well, if you know someone who speaks this kind of vocab on the regular,
Do you feel like things like that, though, were very 1980 something? Like,
I guess someone who uses all three of those.
yeah, okay.
Not someone who says one of them.
Yep.
I mean, you'd have to be, I guess it's quite specific if you're using all three of those terms on the regular.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
But there are a number of other things, obviously, that link the two cases being that, the use of the same sort of mask, the knife and firearm were used again, the kind of restraints that we used, the selection of the age of the child was so close.
Yeah.
Just the methodology in terms of being so calm in his abduction of her. Although there was the differences of this time that he abducted the girl, there was obviously still the sexual assault element to it.
Yeah.
And the cleaning and washing.
The cleaning and washing was significant.
So significant.
The other thing that Sharon was able to say about where he took her, so the police were calling this his lair at this time.
Yeah, and they believed too, the way Sharon described it, he was confident moving around this place. It wasn't like he'd just randomly found, an empty property and was using this property for this moment. It was established home, and they do believe that it was a residence that was in some way related to him, whether it be somewhere he lived permanently or not. That couldn't be determined, but it was somewhere he felt comfortable being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was able to say that, she was able to peek underneath her.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
There are 3 victims we know of. The suspect is female, white, late 20s.
Female serial killers kill for power, control.
I believe there's a deeper motivation here.
You have no idea who you're dealing with. and you are going to end up dead.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Her blindfold at certain times. She never took it off, but was able to sort of sneak a peek. And she said that there was beige carpet, peach curtains, a striped lamp, and then obviously the planes overhead. It's the fact that she was able to even get that much information. I'm like, what an amazing little girl.
Incredible. I mean, and the fear that you would have is as well of that the fact this perpetrator's out there still after you've even been released would be just horrific.
Absolutely horrific.
Oh, Sharon is an absolute hero.
She's absolutely a hero. Absolutely a hero.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. All right. Our next victim.
Yeah, well, even before the next victim even occurs, because there is a slight gap, but not, I mean, it was 85 to 87, 87. So between 88 was 88.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So then between this and the next one, which is sort of another 2 years between. 2
years is in 1990,
so we're
the next
sort of
one.
looking at a 2+ year gap between. But the police, obviously, as we say, they're already connecting these two. So from the fact that they've heard that there's planes and things like that, and the house description, the police already are starting to investigate that by looking at properties around the Tullamarine Airport area, literally going house to house and asking if they can see the layout of the house. They were that, persistent on this. I mean, at the end of all of this, I think they'd searched something like 30,000.
I want to say 27,000 houses.
It was
or interviewed 27,000 people or something. Like it was an insane amount
of places they went to search and were unable to find a house with this layout.
Yeah.
Now that says a lot to me, just in that sense that there wasn't that layout. That's how unique it was to me. They definitely found other things that were going on in houses as they went looking and knocking on doors.
They absolutely did. Which, I mean, wouldn't you just say, no, you can't come into my house if there's shit in there? But
yeah.
This is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves now, but they did. As this police established a task force to sort all this to try and solve
well, even
case.
at this point, it was with the rape squad at this point, and the detectives there. But
but when they formed this task force and they were sort of looking into things, I think they ended up solving 11 other crimes while investigating.
Yes, because they were so extensive with this.
Rapes, I believe, were solved because of this task force.
Anyway, I mean, so positives came out of it. Unfortunately, not the answer to this, but but the other thing they started listing at this point was potential, I guess, in a loose way, it was kind of a profile they started developing, not a profile in terms of having an actual expert profile, having someone come in to do that. But at this point in time, they started putting a few things together. But they had a list of people they believed this, the professions this person might have done because of the elements of knowing some forensics, potentially knowing forensics, things like that. They did have a list of sort of police officers or linked some way to crime enforcement.
They had ex-military personnel.
Yes.
And they also thought that maybe it could be a doctor.
Forensic or medical professional in some field. They also believed a teacher.
Yes.
Potentially with the
Although
way...
that became a theory a little bit later.
Yeah.
Not so much at this time, I don't believe. I think it was after the next victim they started to think that it might be a teacher.
Yeah. A tradesperson was also on the list for various reasons. A photographer. So that element of detail was really focused in on thinking that was maybe something that a photographer might have that idea. But they did also think someone that may be involved with children's groups because of how young the victims were, that this was someone who maybe might place themselves around children.
Around young kids. Okay.
They might also have access to unoccupied or privately controlled properties. So maybe some sort of developer or landlord of some sort, or owning properties around the area, and they felt that they might have work that would allow them to move around Melbourne. Because we're now looking at they're not distant from each other, being Lower Plenty and Ringwood, but they are not
close necessarily. Not
no.
Well, they're like maybe 25 minutes from each other.
We're not talking major vicinity, next suburb. And the distance that we're sort of thinking that they may have travelled in the car that day when he abducted her, that it's someone who maybe knows more than a couple of suburbs across that they have seemed to have connections to.
I guess the police are also thinking at this point in time that that the perpetrator or the what they think is the linked perpetrator is, they are thinking it's this Mr. Cruel, that his behaviour is escalating because he's gone from having, from staying in the house and not abducting the first victim to the second time abducting Sharon, taking her out of the house, removing her to a second location, which that's really dangerous for a victim to move from one location to the next. So
it's dangerous for the perpetrator in terms of being caught, I think, too. It does take on another level of, having two scenes to take care of, I guess, as the perpetrator.
Now,
so you're going to get caught easier if you do that?
Yeah, what we haven't actually spoken about is when Sharon got dropped off.
Yes.
So the perpetrator drove her back to Bayswater in a white Commodore. It had 3 blue stripes, I believe, down the side of the car. Now, this car pulled out onto the road that Bayswater Secondary School is on. This was at 11 o'clock at night, 20 past 11 at night. The car did not have headlights on and was driving really erratically and pulled out in front of another car. Now, this person in the other car, obviously, I mean, I'm a road rager, lost their shit because they've nearly had an accident. They've not got their lights on. It's late at night. They're driving like an absolute crazy person so apparently the lights, they then pulled up at the lights next to each other. And this person did not want to be seen. So the guy who was perpetrating the road rage, he was looking at the person who'd pulled out in front and like trying to get him to turn his lights on and what the fuck were you doing, mate? Like, but this person he couldn't even see his face. He turned his face away. So the person who's perpetrating the road rage, he's like, well, I thought he was just embarrassed because he'd done something wrong. But when they said that all of this happened at around the same time, he's like, oh my God, that was him.
That was him.
But he didn't get a good look at him.
I hate to use words like this with people like that, but how smart
Yep.
of the perpetrator to realise that he needs to, like, even though it's like this thing's gone on and that he hasn't done the immediate reaction of like, oh, fuck off, mate. Like, you know, he has kept himself
you're
completely. You're not going to see my
face.
face because I don't want you connecting me to
But
this
the guy
later
thought,
on.
well, he's just embarrassed by doing what he did, and that's
Didn't
why
think
he's
too
not
much of it
looking
at
at
the
me
time.
because
Yeah.
I don't want to engage in, having
How many
a
times has
fight
that
or
happened
whatever.
to you that people have done that?
Yeah, plenty. As my brother said, he's like, if I'm in the car with you and something happens, I'm going to be the one who gets bashed up. Okay, are we up to
Case number 3?
case number 3?
Yeah.
So Nicola Linus and her family were here from the UK. So her dad worked for, I want to say, Price Waterhouse. He was,
That does sound very
I believe
familiar.
so. So they'd moved over from the UK. They were only ever meant to be here for about 3 or 4 years while he took on this role here, and then they were moving back to the UK. So they'd actually been here for a few years at this point.
Yep.
And they were due, when this happened, they were actually due to move back to the UK the following week.
That's right.
And back to their lives. Like, this was all pre-planned and all of that kind of stuff. Because of that, Nicola's mum and dad were out on this particular night. So this happened on the 3rd of July in 1990. They lived in a fairly affluent suburb of Melbourne, Canterbury.
Yep.
Beautiful homes, absolutely stunning suburb.
Yep.
But definitely one that I guess upper middle class, I would call it. Really beautiful, leafy suburb of Melbourne. Now, on this particular night, the mum and dad were going to a going away dinner for them because they were about to move back to the UK, and they left Nicola, who was, how old was Nicola?
14.
And her sister.
13, sorry, I think at the time.
13. Oh, that's
13,
right, because she
sorry.
turned 14
Yeah,
the day she was returned. And her sister, her little sister Fiona, so Fiona was a bit young, couple of years younger than her.
Yep.
And they left them at home. Of course, I mean, a 15-year-old kid, of course, you leave
13,
them at home.
yep.
13.
Yep.
13-year-old kid.
Yep.
With her sister, left him home. They'd gone out for dinner. Oh, what came next is absolutely horrific. So, the perpetrator broke into their house. He bound Fiona, the younger sister,
Yeah.
tied her up and said to her, "Tell your dad I want $25,000.
Yeah.
This is the first time he'd mentioned money or
I
mentioned
think
a
he
ransom.
demanded money with Sharon's one as well, but not to this. No, but like, yeah, just like demanded, like, as in whatever money you've got in the house.
Okay.
Not to the point of like, yeah, I mean, 25 grand, I mean, the police say this, it's not a lot of money for a ransom, but it's a significant amount of money to be demanding in
At that
this
time.
situation. Yeah.
Yep. But basically he said to Nicola that she needed to get a school uniform. So she went to PLC, Presbyterian Ladies College, which is a private school in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Very, it's a girls' school.
Yep.
He put her uniform and her underwear into a bag. Then he took the keys to the so I think because the family were moving, they'd already sold their family car, but they had a rental car, and it was navy blue Holden Bellina.
Yep.
He took the keys and took her in that rented car. 45 minutes after this abduction, the mum and dad came home to find Fiona bound and Nicola gone. Can you even imagine that?
My God.
The panic obviously set in.
Oh, sickening.
Initially, okay, so the police are obviously looking into it. The mum and dad are panicking, call the police. I think the dad went out and started searching around to see if he could find anything. The following day, the car was found dumped a couple of streets away.
It wasn't that far away.
No, it was literally 2 streets away, I think.
This is the thing. I mean, what they're then now assuming is that he's driven the rental to a couple of streets away. His car, a couple of streets away. Taken the rental from Nicola's house when he's left with her. So he's walked from where he's dumped the car. Knows exactly where he's going, which house he's going to, and has taken her in their car, and then met up with his car that he's got hidden a couple streets away. But again, not too far away, and then switched cars. Which I mean, Nicola confirms she remembers the transporting into the other car and moving to another vehicle. So, and then they've left from there in his car and dumped the other car. Oh.
The police got the forensic officers out, and I mean, at this time, 1990, they're looking for fingerprints. None were found.
No.
Aside from fingerprints of the mum and dad who'd been driving the car, they did not find fingerprints belonging to the perpetrator.
Which is interesting because he obviously was so careful about where he touched and then cleaned that he didn't clean extensively and spend too long doing it, in that there were fingerprints found still, but of other people who'd used the vehicle. Do you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't gone to town going, I'm cleaning every surface.
He was wearing gloves. So Fiona said that when he came into the house, he was a softly spoken male. She also said somewhere between 20 and 40 years of age. Hard to say.
Yeah. Well, with a mask on.
He had a mask. But she mentioned his eyes and that his eyes looked a bit younger.
Yeah, okay.
But she also said, softly spoken male, dark jeans, dark skivvy, and obviously the balaclava that we all know
now.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
He blindfolded both of the girls, but obviously then abducted Nicola blindfolded. He wrapped her in a blanket because she was in her pajamas at the time.
So that's another interesting thing, to wrap her for that reason, that she's in pajamas. I mean, it seems very nurturing-esque.
This is the push and pull of all of this, isn't it? Because in some ways, like when he had them in this lair, he fed them. He gave them drinks.
The way they even spoke about him bathing them, even though you say like he scrubbed them, like, but the way they described how he bathed them was like a mother with a baby. It was caring.
I know it's hard to say. I know,
but like he did it in a way. It wasn't like, hey, shove you in like and dunk you under and scrub you. It was done with some element of care, whether that was care of like, I need to get rid of my DNA and I need to do this carefully.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be more delicate than that. Not rough and guts kind of, He didn't injure them in doing it, I guess, or that sort of stuff. Like,
Sorry, I've just realised Nicola's sister Fiona was 15. That's where I got
That's where the 15 came from.
Sorry, so she was older.
So interesting that he then chose the younger one. The age thing gets me.
Same with Sharon, though.
Yeah.
She had there were 3 other girls in the house.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have pictures of... Well, do we have pictures of Sharon? I kind of have to
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I have seen pictures of her, haven't I? Yeah, I want to know what the connection is. Why choosing those girls? Because... Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he's taken her to his lair as well.
Yeah.
Now, she's that little bit older, being 13, that little bit older to Sharon. She has taken on so much information.
Yep.
She was held for 50 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even imagine what the parents were going through.
Oh, God,
because he stated that he wanted this ransom, her parents were like, we will give him whatever he wants.
This is what the police couldn't understand, that the amount that he asked for, they basically were like, it's false. Like, he doesn't actually care about the money. And whereas the parents were like, just pay him.
Just pay it.
Because they were wealthy enough to afford, in these sorts of situations, you'd pay anything to have your own child back, that they would have paid a lot more. Do you know what I mean? Like, they were wealthy enough to be able to go, I'm going to just take the 25 grand.
money.
Like, we don't care. Like, there's plenty of people around who 25 grand, trying to find that.
Yeah.
You would, but at the same time, you'd beg, borrow, steal to find it because you'd want to save your child. But these people didn't need to do that, to find that money, really. So this was a scenario the police were like, he's watched you, he knows who you are. Why has he asked for only 25 grand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, again, is it a red herring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were very willing to just go pay him the money, and as you would, yes.
Yeah. So he's taken her to his lair. Again, I think Nicola heard her dad on the news. He was like, we'll pay whatever, we just want to know that you're alive. He made similar comments to her about calling her Missy, and I guess in some ways like trying to make her feel a bit comfortable or something. Like,
this is it. Yeah.
It really
makes your skin crawl.
It does. It makes my skin crawl. She was sexually assaulted. She was raped during those 50 hours. She also describes the layout of this lair in a very similar way. Now, she has a lot more information with regard to the aeroplanes and the flights that were coming. She could tell where they were coming from, and how she's kind of kept a bit more of a mental picture of how frequently they were coming. And what they discovered when they sort of plotted all of this was that, so at the time, Peter, you're going to be really impressed with this, but at the time, inbound flights to Tullamarine were only coming in via 2 runways. It was runway 27 that they think that she was most close to based on the timings and the frequency of all of this coming through. Now, what they were able to do then is, so runway 27 is on a particular, like I say, I don't know if it's like northeast or, I don't know, it's a particular direction. So they were then able to basically say, right, there's a flight path here and a flight path here. They were parallel to one another for entry into Tullamarine. That's how they were able to establish that this was Tullamarine, the frequency of which airplanes were landing. It had to be Tullamarine, and the noise of these aircraft mean that it couldn't have been Essendon, which isn't too far away, but they can't land such big aircraft there. So they're able to deduce all of this. And what it basically meant was that there was basically like a 25-kilometre rectangle, tunnel, in which they think this house belonged. Huge area.
Yes.
But it's something.
Yeah. It narrowed things down.
It did,
and
somewhat.
rather than being like, that side of Melbourne, it was, this strip, which is still a hell of a lot of houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Now, on the 5th of July in 1990, Nicola was found next to an electrical substation in Kew, which again is not far from Canterbury. It's about 5 k's or something away. Yeah. She was fully clothed and wrapped in the blanket. Now, did he launder her clothes?
No. He took clothes.
Oh, he took her school uniform. That's right. That's right. And fresh underwear.
Yeah, he told her before they left to go and get clothes out. So, again, another escalation of where he's at in terms of what went wrong the last time. Like, so he had to put the other girl in a plastic bag. He's then gone, right, well, this time I'll get her to grab some fresh clothes that I won't damage and won't touch until I'm ready for her to get dressed and leave.
I forgot about
so
that.
The only part of that is that he had no intention of hurting her to the point of not returning her.
Yeah.
Which if nothing else, safety in that she's going to come home. It wasn't his intention at this point
to kill her.
That's, I find that interesting.
Yeah. He taped her eyes shut and bound her hands. But when he dropped her off, she was able to knock on a house and raise the alarm. Her parents were just beside themselves. I actually, it turns my stomach to put myself in their shoes and in the shoes of these poor victims. Like, it's just horrific, absolutely horrific what they would have gone through.
Totally. The other thing that was slightly different with this one was that he took photos of her.
Even if you're using topical prescription creams for your child's eczema, you still might be hearing this. That relentless itching that makes them want to scratch and scratch and scratch and scratch. When their moderate to severe eczema isn't well controlled, it's time to ask about Dupixent, dupilumab, which isn't a cream, steroid, or immunosuppressant. Dupixent helps kids as young as 6 months stay ahead of their eczema with clearer skin and noticeably less itch. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent helps your child feel the heal. Ask your child's eczema specialist. Visit Dupixent.com or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
So which is where that photographer link comes in, I guess, where they got that list of sort of professions and things.
Do you think it's possible that he took photos of Sharon without her even knowing? Or was he posing her or staging Nicola? I don't know.
I don't know. I just know he took photos of her. I know that was something that Nicola
I guess in 1990 there's no digital cameras, so you would have heard like the film.
Click, and then the wind on.
Yeah. So
for those of us that remember.
There'd be an auditory signal. Whereas with a digital camera you can do that silently.
Pretty much take a photo and well, you can.
You can
without
turn
anyone
the
knowing.
sound off. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Whereas you can't. Even without a flash, you've still got to roll the film on.
That's right. Unless you do that in another room. But
there's a click. There's a click of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it brings back memories. Yeah. So, whether or not here, as we say, I mean, maybe it's something that Sharon wasn't aware of, but we don't think so. We think this was an escalation from this point. So, and what's with that? And what did he take then of Sharon's? I mean, there was other items he took from that house that, I mean, because you're looking now at like trophies and things to remind himself of this. So that's interesting that with this one, he's decided to take photos. That crease. And you've got to get that developed too.
Or unless he was able to develop his own, like he had a dark room or something. You couldn't get those
That's why
developed.
I guess they think he was a photographer then.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be putting them into a Kodak
Kmart.
film and Kmart or whatever to go and get them developed.
No.
Having worked in a shop that did that, just because I mean there are protocols at this point in time in this era of like what sort of photos you would have to declare, and you wouldn't be able to. You'd have to report to police. So,
but then
that wouldn't necessarily come under it though if there was no if it was just a photo of a girl. So, but her photo was out there.
But she would have been blindfolded.
Yeah,
because he never took their blindfolds off.
I don't think there was anything on there, that list that said that someone couldn't be blindfolded in a photo.
But then wouldn't that still make you go, oh, that's
what's going on here? Yeah.
And for it to be a young girl too, like if it's like kinky sex shit.
That was definitely on there.
Yeah. And you're an older person, like you're of consenting age, okay. Well, whatever.
Different. Yeah, I think it potentially could raise a flag.
Yeah. Anyway, I wonder. So, we don't actually know the answer to that.
No.
So that's yeah. The other thing that was of note with Sharon's disappearance was that he tied her parents' hands and feet with copper wire.
That's right.
In the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, copper wire was really expensive and really difficult to come by. So then that's when they were like looking at like, is he a tradesperson?
Yeah,
Does he have something to do with, Sharon was also dumped near the Bayswater electrical substation. So was there a link there? Like, so
electrical,
Nicola was dumped near the one in Kew. Sharon was dumped near the one in Bayswater.
Yeah, it wasn't far from there.
Were these locations that the perpetrator knew because he'd worked at them? That was another thing they were sort of looking at.
Such a huge range of things that this person could be involved in. When you look at like, a trader who enjoys photography and knows forensics.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
Who is this person?
Whoa.
I think this is when the theory started to come into play that maybe he was a school teacher.
Yeah.
Because these attacks happened around the school holidays. So that would have meant that the perpetrator had time to take the victims for 18 hours and then 50 hours and not be working and raise suspicion in that way. So that, maybe that was a thing. Oh, and then I guess the other thing is, like, he's obviously a pedophile. He's likes young girls. They're looking at known sex offenders in these areas, and obviously that was the first place they started looking, and it didn't. I mean, as I said, they solved other rapes because of investigating this, but not these ones. Yeah. It's weird. It's really weird. I guess now we're looking at the triangulation of this as well.
Yeah.
And, well, when we add in the abduction of Kamen Chan, that adds a little bit more weight to this too. But all of these places are fairly close to one another. They're sort of within 20 minutes or so drive of one another of where these victims...
on a map, it is literally forms a triangle. And within that triangle is certainly not Tullamarine Airport.
No, but why? Like, what makes me... Why was he comfortable in that space? Why was that the area that he was comfortable in? Is it because he'd worked there before, worked there currently? Was it that he grew up in that area and he's since moved? Or was it that he, like, literally the Tullamarine address was an outlier and that's where he'd been able to, for whatever reason, set up this lair or have access to this house or unit or townhouse or whatever it was? I don't know. So let's go through his MO and some characteristics, and then we can start to talk about, like, what police were building in terms of a suspect profile.
Yeah. They established Operation Challenge at this point as well. So prior to even putting together the task force that came later, this became Operation Challenge, which good name for it, to try and work out who this guy was. Yeah.
So what they know is that the planning of everything was absolutely meticulous. So what they think is that he conducted extensive surveillance on these families because he knew so much about them. He knew how to access their homes. Police believe that he moved with such ease throughout their homes that he'd probably been inside these houses when they weren't home before, familiarised himself with where he would go, what he would do, how he would apprehend, like, the parents or siblings or anyone else who happened to be in the house. I've read somewhere that they believe that with, I think it was Nicola's family, that he was probably surveilling them for 6+ weeks prior. The fact that he knew the victim's name, he knew Sharon by name, freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, he was close enough to the family to hear someone call her by name or to learn that name, see it on something. That's awful to think that you've, as a parent, to think that, someone's been close enough to your child that is this way inclined, and you were so unaware.
Well,
and not that I'm shaming that on the parents, but it's awful. I can only imagine how bad you feel as a parent thinking that like, why wasn't I not on top of that and know that
But this could have happened. Like, our kids could have been in contact with people. You just don't.
You really don't know.
You really don't.
It is very scary that.
There's obviously the forensic awareness that this perpetrator had.
Yeah.
So wearing the balaclava that was really closely tapered to his face. Like, the eye holes are tiny. You can only really see his eyes. You can't even really see his eyelids at all.
It was literally enough for him to be able to see and not for you to be able to see.
That's right. And a tiny little mouth hole as well.
Yeah.
He obviously meticulously cleaned the victims, cleaned things up, and bathed them and all of that sort of stuff to destroy DNA. He was polite.
Yeah.
So the police called him the polite monster. And that's very, very true because he's carrying a knife and a firearm. So there's the fear and, all of that. But he was always soft-spoken. He was always calm.
Yeah.
He was never hurried or panicked.
He was organised.
And very, very organised and methodical in the way he did things. He knew what he was going to do, when he was going to do it and how he was going to do it before he even broke in.
Yeah. And he didn't, at any point, sort of react to an impulse other than maybe to take something, and something that was controllable within that moment is just like picking up a few items. But even that, I feel like he was very particular around what he took.
Do you think he planned to have that meal at the Lower Plenty house?
Yeah, in some ways I think he did, as in like, I feel he wanted the victims to feel like, he felt like he was at home and
Was
he
it a
was in control.
thing? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I really do think that was a bit thought about.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously he had this psychological aspect to the crime as well, in that, speaking of that, like going to their fridge and doing whatever he wanted, the way he tied up the parents and then progressed to gagging them. He basically turned their sanctuary into a hellhole.
Yep.
So he had that sort of psychological torture that he was imposing on his victims as well.
Yeah.
Now, after this, when was the task force? When was Operation Spectrum established?
That wasn't established until 1991.
Okay.
In the May.
Right.
So it was after Carmen Chan's abduction, that was formed. So prior to that, it was this Operation Challenge.
Right. So during Spectrum, this is when, you're right, they did search 30,000 homes and interviewed 27,000 suspects. Now, I just go, when I read things like that, I go back to something our mate Ron Iddle says.
He comes into this eventually too.
The file. He does. It's all in the file. So
somewhere in there, someone has pointed to him.
Yep. He's been interviewed or something like
that.
And
they actually do feel that they have potentially interviewed him at some point, and they just haven't been able to connect it. They also received over 10,000 public tips in amongst all of this, which is huge. They have approximately 12,000 pieces or categories of evidence and information. So, and we're talking at this point, very early 90s, late 80s, a lot of that's probably handwritten notes.
Yep.
There'll be computer use in there as well, but I can only imagine what those files are combined with, and how there is. But then, going back to that statement that it's in the file, it could be as simple as there's a handwritten note and something on a computer that hasn't actually been married up, that could potentially hold the key to finding who this person is too.
They called these the Sierra files.
Yeah.
And so over the years, all of these reports have gone into these Sierra files, and basically all of their high priority sort of suspects are in there. A lot of them have been cleared. The people who they thought might have been sort of slowly eliminated over time. But in that, there were career criminals, local figures. Like, I'm talking about, there were people in there who had held positions of authority within the community.
Well, there was thought that it could be a police officer.
Yep.
It could be one of them. And there was a FBI profiler who famously said that he felt like that Mr. Cruel and the Golden State Killer would have very similar profiles.
Yes.
And he was an ex-police officer.
Yeah.
And so, there's some similarities between these two characters in how they perpetrated their crimes.
Yeah.
Which, as I've said to you before, Golden State Killer, my biggest fear.
Yeah,
the way he spoke on that phone. Remember?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
It fully creeps me out. He is why I lock my doors at night.
Yep.
So, Mr. Cruel and him, putting them on similar, put them as similar characters, freaks me the fuck out.
So, the task force did get the FBI to do a profile. And basically in that, they said he was a highly intelligent male, aged 30 to 50, clean-cut appearance, very well read, socially adept on the surface, but harbouring a severe defiant paraphilia and likely collecting child exploitation material.
They also said that he was likely to rehearse and fantasize extensively. And so in saying that, all sorts of aspects of these cases were quite often possibly very highly rehearsed and fantasized about prior.
You can see that in the meticulous detail. I think they were rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, should we talk about suspects?
Possible suspects? Sure. Because they've had a list.
Yeah.
Some of them they've been able to rule out, some not.
Yeah. So basically they're looking at this point, I think they'd sort of narrowed it down to a police officer or former police officer, a military officer. They also thought it could have been a hardened criminal because it's someone who'd had exposure to the way the police force worked before.
And you can't rule that out. That as much as a police officer knows, forensics, the crooks know just as much. So,
that's it.
So who do we want to talk about first? What do you reckon? What about Dr. Brian Allen Elkner.
Yep, let's do that.
Yeah. So he was someone who committed a lot of home invasions in the early 70s. So if you think about this as an escalation of behaviours, as we saw throughout the 3 cases that we're looking at here, there is an escalation.
Yep.
And as we said, we don't believe that him entering that home, whether it be in Hampton in 1985 or the one in 87, that's not the first time he's entered a property.
No.
Like, you know, so why would somebody have knowledge of being able to do that? Someone who's maybe done a whole lot of home invasions for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So he was definitely he also was known for sexual assaults with these home invasions of girls and young women. So not necessarily all as young as the girls that were involved in Mr. Cruel's cases. There were other.
Oh, there were underage girls.
They were as well, but he also went older as well.
Right. Yes, he'd also raped women.
But they were young women. That he did rape.
Yep.
He worked in an area of sort of Brighton, Carnegie, Elstonwick, Murrumbina. So it's still Eastern, I guess, not these suburbs.
Not inner Eastern.
No, sort of a little bit outer Eastern, but not as far out as some of these. So he just moved further out. Yeah. So
was he a former Melbourne Uni lecturer? Was that him?
Yes. Yes, he was.
So he held a position of authority, so that ticks that box.
Yep.
If he was alive today, he'd be over 80 years of age. So would he still be alive? We don't know. I couldn't find out if he's still alive or not.
I could not find whether he was alive or not. No, I searched that myself.
He did spend 10 years in jail in the 1970s.
Yes.
That was after pleading guilty to a rape and other offences. I'm not quite sure.
And that's why how he got on their radar, because he was a known sex offender. Yeah.
So he was suspect number 1 for a very long time.
He was. I mean, he used a knife in his assaults.
In his prior assaults,
The area, obviously, that he worked in his assaults. He was educated and articulate, all sort of ticking boxes
Softly
of similar,
spoken.
similar demeanour to Mr. Cruel.
Yep. So because he was never charged, even though he was the prime suspect, they obviously had to keep investigating other people. So I haven't named a lot of these people. I'm just calling this next one suspect number 2. There's no need to name them. Suspect number 2 is age 70 if he was alive today.
Yep.
He also lived in Eltham.
Yep.
He moved to Box Hill and Surrey Hills around the time that the perpetration of these Mr. Cruel crimes started, which are very close to where he's going to be perpetrating his advisor.
Although Eltham's just out of the triangle too.
Yes,
so
it
again,
is.
It knows the area.
He ran businesses in Balwyn and Montalbot North, again very close to like Canterbury and sort of those places. Now he married a Canadian woman after 1991. And moved to New South Wales. He lived in a caravan park for a while up there. And then he moved to Canada in 2014, and we don't know what happened after that. We don't know where he's gone. Suspect number 3 would be aged in his 70s as well if he were alive today. He lived near Daylesford at the time of these attacks. So geographically, that's quite a distance. How far is Daylesford from where these happened? Like a few hour
and a half, or less from like Templestowe.
That's that way, yeah.
Yeah, lower Templestowe, that would be
maybe an hour
away.
An hour and a half, yeah. But he spent a lot of time in Melbourne. He also changed his name by deed poll not long after the first attack in 1988. He then changed his name by deed poll again after 1991.
Oh.
Why?
Why?
We don't know.
No, I find that interesting. Anyone changing their name legally,
yep.
I find it interesting.
Me too. Like, why? What have you done? What do you know?
I've known people who've done it, and yeah, they've always had valid reasons, but I'm always intrigued what their reasons are.
Yep.
But yeah, because
there's another suspect who died in 2015. He was 66 when he died. He lived in Knoxfield at the time of the attacks, which is very close to Bayswater.
So close to Bayswater, Ringwood, yeah.
He was married with children. He had grandchildren when he passed away, so he was a family man. This didn't necessarily fit the profile because he had a lot of freedom. However, he was a tradesman, and he did work away on jobs sometimes.
Right.
So he would have had some flexibility and freedom there to maybe be away for work. I put that in inverted
For
commas.
50 hours?
I don't know. Like, I've got a family member who works away for weeks at a time sometimes.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's possible.
Yeah, possible they could talk their way around that with family.
Yeah. There's another suspect who would be in his 70s now again. So all of these people are very roughly of the same age.
Yeah.
Lived in Baldwin at the time of the attacks. He moved from Baldwin after the second attack to his mother's home in Mount Waverley. So again, very similar area.
Yeah.
He actually has come out and said, I've never had any charges laid against me. I've been interviewed, yes, along with 27,000 other people. I was interviewed and that was it.
Yeah. Bit angry about that, mate.
Not happy about being interviewed? Not happy to help out and lend a hand?
No. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
there's several other suspects that, we don't really know anything about.
They all sort of share this geographical proximity to them.
That's it.
Their occupations line up to, the FBI profile. The resemblance, is there in terms of stature and what information we do have. A lot of them lived under potentially or had houses, if they didn't live in them, but there was, properties that would fit with beneath the path of the flight plan, path that we were talking about, where the planes flew. They've all got a criminal history of some sort, some more so than others in terms of sexual offences and those sorts of things. And their vehicles that they owned, sort of some of them, not necessarily the white vehicle with the blue stripes that we, identified early on with Sharon's case, but certainly they all owned vehicles that could, transport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's like it was a seemingly insurmountable task to try and figure this out, but hats off to Victoria Police for persisting with it, because to interview 27,000 people and go through 30,000 homes is extraordinary.
It is. It's a huge amount. I mean, to this day, there is the Apollo Task Force now.
Yep.
That was I think 2010. I want to say that was established as now being a cold case. So at the time where the Spectrum Task Force was set up, it was when it was sort of more active, and it was after the Carmen Chan one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they were still at that point thinking there might be more cases. Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, there weren't, or that we know of, that we could link to the Mr. Cruel profile.
That's right.
So which is very interesting. It's why? That's a very huge question over this. So then by the time we get to 2010, it is truly a cold case, or all these are cold cases. So the Apollo Task Force was set up separately to continue looking into it to this day.
Yeah.
So
and some of our faves have been involved with this.
Yeah.
Charlie Bazina, Ron Iddles.
Yeah.
They've been involved in some respect.
At aspects of it. Yeah. So, I mean,
they've had their best. They've absolutely had their
thrown
best on
everything
this.
at
They've
it.
thrown everything at it.
But yeah, I don't know, do you have any theories on why another one didn't occur?
Well, I think there's several theories. The first is that he died.
Yep.
Second theory is that he was imprisoned for something else.
Yep.
Another theory is that he may have almost gotten caught and it spooked him enough to stop him. Another theory is that he entered into a new relationship that maybe satisfied some of those urges in some way, or that he then had access to a victim that he was able to perpetrate against or perpetrate on, living within his household. So like if he'd met a woman who maybe had a daughter from a previous relationship or something like that. So there's lots of different theories about what may have stopped him.
Yeah.
I think the police's running theory is that he was probably – the other theory possibly is as well that he moved away. He moved to a different area and he's been perpetrating either internationally or in – I think if it were within Australia, it would have been able to be linked by now.
Yeah.
So did he move overseas and he's perpetrating these
like
things
Canada,
elsewhere?
you mean?
Like Canada? Who knows?
Who knows?
So, there's lots of different theories. The police's running theory was that he was possibly incarcerated for something else.
I feel like the kinds of the violence within what he's done. I mean, he's not to me. He's not someone who could stop. You know, like as you say, he's either got another victim that he can
And that's
access
the
to.
police's theory.
But I also feel though he's someone who liked the stalking of the victim and the being in control of those situations. That I don't know. From my length of experience, and I'll put my that hat on. I don't know that having access to a victim with ease would fill his need. I think there was elements of all of this, keeping trophies, all that side of it.
But also
is
the
all part of it that he wouldn't.
investigation of it. Like he probably got a thrill from the
he's-
stalking and
yeah.
I'm assuming he would have gotten a thrill from breaking into the house when no one was at home to suss things out. And
Mm-hmm.
he probably left things around as well that might have been clues. Like he would have, like psychologically, this was a big thing for him. So I tend to agree. I think he must have been incarcerated for something else.
Yeah. Or died.
But why would he die?
Well, I mean,
he was young.
He'd have a car accident. Things happen.
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
know
like
if
a
there was
freak accident. Yeah,
freak
okay.
accident
Yeah,
could have occurred.
yeah.
I mean, young men have died of heart attacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't rule that out either because my gut instinct is that he wouldn't be able to stop due to.
And that's Charlie Bazina says that.
Yeah, okay.
Charlie Bazina says there's no and the fact that his behaviour was escalating. So if you're taking into account Carmen Chan,
Yes.
and you think that Carmen was a victim of Mr. Cruel, she was murdered. So he's gone from abducting and raping to abducting and raping for a longer period of time to abducting, raping, and murdering in the most horrific of ways. So there's not really a chance that he would have stopped then.
No. What would stop him when he hadn't been caught?
Because his fantasy would have just moved on to something else and it would have escalated in a different way. And the other thing that a psychologist, Tim Watson-Munro, talks about this, that the attacks were getting closer and closer together. And so the need for him to perpetrate these things would have become closer and closer. So they would have actually expected to see more victims, more like in a shorter period of time, and we didn't really see that. So yeah, something's interrupted
Something's
him.
interrupted it. Yeah.
And the other thing that I think could have happened is that with the Carmen Chan case, and obviously listen to our Patreon if you want to hear all about that, but with the Carmen Chan case, did he almost get caught?
Yeah.
By her? And that made him move away.
Move away?
Yeah. Move overseas
Yes.
or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay. We will
really
get
hard to
further
say.
into that.
Yes. Yeah.
All
so
right. Well, unfortunately, this is one of those ones that we leave without a result in
is
terms of
horrible.
who. But I mean, tell us what you think. Who do you think did this? Is there a suspect we haven't touched on that? I know there's lots of people with lots of theories out there.
yeah.
So bring it.
Bring it. We want to know what you think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, thank goodness he hasn't perpetrated again.
Oh,
I
God.
hope he hasn't anywhere in the world.
No,
but
I mean, I wouldn't be sad if I found out he was dead. But
No.
just we'd like to know who it was, though, for
Yeah.
for the families, for those girls that live with this, and
Still
potentially
not
one that
knowing
doesn't,
who it is.
not knowing who that is, and that they're still out there would be really awful. I can only
these
imagine.
women now would be in their late
Like
50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early 60s maybe.
No, younger than that.
No, yeah?
No.
Oh, maybe 50,
No,
early
they'd be in
50s
their, could even
then.
be in their 40s.
Yeah.
Late 40s. No, early 50s.
Yeah.
Early 50s.
So they've lived their whole lives with this and having it hanging over their head, not knowing who it was. And God, it'd be horrible. It'd
Absolutely.
be awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our thoughts go out to them because
absolutely.
they don't deserve to live like that.
Hope that the
After
rest
what
of
they've
their
been
lives
through.
have been completely away from this.
Yes,
And
yes.
they, as much as we need to talk about this and to learn from it and all these sorts of things that we want to put out there, but at the same time these victims should have their own separate lives from all of this now and carry on.
Yeah, well,
That's-
Nicola Linus and her family did move back to the UK, which
I
they
hope
sort of
that
planned
really
to
then
do.
is solidified for her to be able to have this other life
Separation
then.
of all of that, and
yeah.
the timing couldn't have come better.
Yes.
All right, well, let's leave that there. If you want to hear our discussion about Carmen Chan, you can do so over on Patreon. That'll be out right now. So go over there and listen. Patreon.com/2 Crime Besties, $5 a month if that's something that is for you. If not, join us on the socials. Let us know what you think. We absolutely love hearing everyone's theories. So thank you for your engagement. And
stay curious, Crime Besties.
Bye. Oh, it's shut the bed.
What?
Oh, there we go.
Who shut the bed?
Spotify for podcasters, but it's fine. It's sorted itself out now.
Sorry, I'm recording. Testing.
Testing.
The GLP-1 pill you've been waiting for is now on Ro. Yep, it's finally here. With the same clinically proven ingredient, now in a pill, and now on Ro. It's the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest price available. That's one daily GLP-1 pill for big results. Now on Ro. Go to ro.co/listen to see if you qualify. RX only. Go to ro.co/safety for serious side effects and boxed warning associated with GLP-1s.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole family.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.